subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello. In this video, we will discuss another metaphysical poem from your course, that is The Caller, written by George Herbert. First of all, let's have a brief introduction to the poem. The Caller, written by George Herbert, was published in the collection of his poems, The Temple. The collar refers to the white band worn by the clergy and symbolizes the priest's role as a servant to the god. It is a 36-line poem without any proper rhyme scheme. The poem portrays a man who is confused and has lost his faith in God. He regrets over the promises he has made with God. He feels his devotion to God has proved fruitless because he has not been rewarded for his sacrifices and tries to free himself from religious parameters. The poem is a struggle between one's faith in God and worldly pleasures. I struck the boat and cried, "No more, I will abroad." What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines in life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as snow. Shall I be still in suit? The poet is fed up with his present life. He is struggling with his religious beliefs. He pounds the table or an altar in bewilderment and shouts that it is enough. He will leave or will give up being a priest. The poet doesn't want to dwell in sighs and pains. His lines and his life are free. The poet feels free and compares himself with road, wind and snow. He is like an open road and is no longer restricted by his religious duties. He is like wandering wind and can go anywhere. He is like a large store filled with enormous desires. Then the poet wonders why he should still behave like a servant to God. Have I no harvest but a thorn to let me bleed, and not restore what I have lost with cordial fruit? Sure, there was wine before my sighs did try it. There was corn before my tears did drown it. The poet in dejection mood complains that his hard work only gives him thorns to harvest, which makes him bleed. He doesn't harvest fruits. The poet actually questions why he hasn't received any reward from God, as he had shown much dedication in fulfilling the duties of God. The poet admits that there was wine and corn in store for him, but his sighs and tears have ruined them. Here wine and corn may possibly refer to communion, a religious food in Christianity. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no base to crown it? No flowers, no garland scale? All blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. The poet then questions to himself if he is the only person who has lost this year without any harvest. The poet wonders if he has not earned any laurels to crown himself. He muses if there are no flowers or garlands to honor him. Perhaps they are all withered and wasted. The poet then tells himself that there is fruit and he has hands to grab it. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sands, which petty thoughts have made, and made to thee good cable to enforce and draw, and be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Then poet tells himself to recover all those pleasures of past and leave the dispute over what is good and what is bad. The poet actually doesn't concern about being sinful or sinless. He wants to enjoy the pleasures of life by breaking the religious cage and the rope made of his religious thoughts. These ropes turned strong cables, which in turn became law and forced him to obey the religion. The poet was only winking but could not see that they were all his own inventions, not real laws. Away, take heed, I will abroad, call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. The poet then adds to his will or heart that he is determined to leave. He then tells us to call that dreadful skull, which is the reminder of the death, and leave the fear of death. Those who neglect to fulfill their needs deserve the burdens of his duty. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child," and I replied, "My Lord." But as the poet grows more enthusiastic and angry, he realizes that he is being called as a child by God, and the poet replies, "My Lord." The poet in the last two lines shows his relationship to the God. He is being called by God as child, to which the poet responds, "My Lord." It means God is always present even in our worst circumstances and gives us hope and makes us optimists.